here is Module 3, Lesson 3 for 5th grade. What we're taking a look at is kind of getting really visual with what's happening when you're adding fractions with unlike denominators. So this is pretty important. Unlike denominators. D-E-N-O-M-N-A-G-O-R-S, denominators. Because then you're trying to add something that actually has a different size to it. In this case, we're looking at something that's broken into fourths and something that's broken into thirds, but we want to add them together, so we have to make them the same size. So we're going to make two squares, trying to make them about the same size, which is not easy to do with this material, this tool. Now I'm going to break this into fourths, because this is the first of the two fractions. And if it needs fourths, I've got one line, two lines, three lines, and my fourth line is already there. Now I'm going to go to the other side, and I'm going to make this into thirds. And I'm going to go the other way, just so it makes it clear that we've got two different things going on. One line, two lines, three lines. Our third line's already there. If you make three lines like this, you end up with fourths, right? So if we need thirds, we've got to take that line into account. And so now what we've got to do is we've got to do some shading. So I'm going to pick a different color for some shading. We'll go with yellow. So this is 1/4. So we'll color it in a little bit. 1/4. This one we're going to color in 1/3 of it. Now we're going to add them together, and I can't add thirds and fourths because they are totally different. Because if you add 1 plus 1, it's 2, but then we wouldn't know what our denominator would be. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get another color. We'll go orange this time, and we're going to make common denominators. So this one, I want these lines to match these ones. And I want these lines right here to continue on over, so it affects this one too. 1, 2, 3, and I already have a fourth line, so I don't need to make another one. So now when you count these, you know it's 3 times 4, which is 12. So it's out of 12 pieces total. So is this one. 3 times 4 is 12. So now let's look and see what we're adding. This is 1, 2, 3 twelfths. This is 1, 2, 3, 4 twelfths. And when we add 3/4, twelfths and 4 twelfths, 3 plus 4 is 7, and we have the same size. So it's kind of like if you have two shirts, one's a medium and one's a large. You could say you've got two shirts, but you couldn't say you've got two mediums or two larges, could you? So we've got to make them the same size. All right, let's take a look at the next one. This one right here, we happen to have 1/4 and 1/6. Let's go with blue for our lines this time. So we're going to make our squares. Here's one square. This one will go with 1/4. Here's the other square. This one's going to go with 1/6. And now we make our lines. We divide it on up. So we'll go with pink this time. And this one's going to be fourths. So it's going to be going, let's see, which way did we go the first time? We went up and down the first time. So we'll go up and down again. So we need 3 lines. 1, 2, 3. So now it's 4 equal spaces. This one we're going to do 5 lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And here's your 6th line right here. So we're going to color in just one of them in both cases. So we'll go green because it stands out nice. So here's 1/4. Here's 1/6. Now in order to combine them, we have to make them the same size. So we're going to go through and we're going to make some more lines. We're going to make these ones match the other ones, so then they go together. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, going that way. And now we'll go this way, and we're going to make it 3 lines going this way, so it's also 2 into fourths now. And then if you think about, okay, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times 1, 2, 3, 4. 6 times 4 is 24, right? So they're both into 24ths now. And we got to add them together. How many 24ths do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. 6 24ths. This one we have 4 of them. And 6 and 4 get you 10. And what size are they? They are 24ths. So then your answer, 10 24ths, goes right after your equal sign. Because what happens when you combine them? That's what it's equal to. Now this one's a little more complicated because see up top your numerators are not ones anymore. They're different this time. So we're going to make our 2 squares. Here's 1 square. That goes for the 3/5. Here's the other square. This one will go for the 3/7. Now let's get a new color. We'll go with red this time. So this one needs to be fifths. So we're going to make 4 lines. 1, 2, 3, 4 lines. Here's your 5th one. 5 lines because you include the end one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces. Now this one we're going to make them a little skinnier because the spaces have to be a little bit more narrow in order to have 7 pieces instead of 5. So that's 3 lines, 4 lines, 5 lines. I got to squeeze in 1 more line there. 6. So now we have 7 equal pieces, we can tell. And when we color these in, we'll go a different color again. Let's go orange this time. And it's going to be 3 of these. So 3 of these pieces. There's 1 piece, 2 pieces. 3 of those pieces are now shaded in. And then on the other one, it's 3 of those as well. 3 out of 7. This one's so skinny, it's kind of hard to color in. And this one, so that's 2 of them. Here's 3 of them. Now we have to make them the same size, because these are way skinnier than the other ones, right? So we can't say 3 plus 3 is 6, because they're 2 different sizes. One is 5ths, one is 7ths. So let's get an additional color here. Let's go ahead and go with gray this time. I hardly ever use gray. So now we have to make this one, these lines are just going to kind of continue on over. So I can look at where this is and kind of continue on over if I want to. Another thing that you could do would be to use a ruler if you like. If you like things that are kind of straight. This is on the straight and narrow, these little lines. And then I've got this last line right here to continue on over. See that? So now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is actually into 35ths now. That's how many pieces are inside there. It used to only be fifths. Now let's take a look at this one. We've got to make these same lines that we did up and down. To make the fifths, we've got to do that on this one. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 of them. And this is our 5th line right here if you're going to count the lines. Let's count the spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 like we started with. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 we added to it. 7 times 5, the area of it is 35 also. So now all of our squares are roughly the same size. Would be if I used a ruler, but can't really do that on the tablet. Now to figure out how many of these are shaded, we can also multiply 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 high by 1, 2, 3 across. And 7 times 3 happens to be 21. So there are 21 out of 35 of those that are shaded. Now if we take a look at this one also too, this is 3 high, that's shaded. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 across. So that's 15 of them. Now when we add 21 and 15, you can think about this. I know 2 10s and 1 10 gives me 3 10s. And I know 5, 1, 5 units plus 1 unit gives me 6 units. And it just adds up to 6. It doesn't add up to 10 or something bigger, so we wouldn't have to carry over into our 10s. What size are they? It takes 35 of them to have a whole. So if I took these pieces and I moved them into this, it would fill it up. And because it's 36 instead of 35, I would have 1 extra piece. So that means that I have a whole one that's full, because 35 out of 35 is a whole. But I've got 1 extra. So 1/35. So either of these two answers is okay. Eventually, you're going to be expected to move to that eventually. Because if you were going to talk about, say, out of an hour, and it was out of 60 minutes, and you had 61 minutes that you've used out of 60, then it's going to be an hour and a minute, right? That kind of thing. So eventually they're going to have you move on over to that. For now, you're good to go, though. All right, let's take a look at tonight's homework, shall we? Your one problem, the one problem I'm asking of you is to do number 1. So it's 1/2 plus 1/5. So you're going to start with your 2 squares, and you're going to draw it out, model it. One of them is going to be halves, one of them is going to be fifths, but then you have to do the same thing to the other one. So this one, remember, your first set of lines go up and down, your second set of lines go right to left. And then, when you combine them, then you can kind of see what's happening. All right, so 1/2 plus 1/5. Got to have common denominators and show modeling how you get it. It says right there, fraction model. All right, I hope that makes sense. And if you got any questions, please, please, please write them down on your little homework paper. Ask me tomorrow. Bye.